weatherman, we can't allow any further delay. So stop your waiting.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Fox 12 Weather Podcast. Today is Wednesday, August 21st. I'm meteorologist Jeff Orgeron, joined by meteorologist Katie Suniga. Hey Katie.
Good morning.
And chief meteorologist Mark Nelson. Hey Mark.
Hey, good morning, folks. How is everybody doing this morning? A very gray morning, I notice.
Not where I'm at.
Yeah, depending on where you're located.
Really?
Yeah,
starting to get some breaks out there.
Sky.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Mark lives in the gray zone, the Cascade foothills, as many know. So
I just checked, by the way. I did random. 47 inches of rain so far this year. Excuse me, at my house. So I think I average about 60 inches of rain a year up here, because I'm sure I'll get 14 by the end of December, right? Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the water year. We still have a little over a month left in the water year, so. Not a bad year for you. Whoa, what did I just do?
What the heck? There's 25 of us, Jeff.
Okay, that didn't work.
Oh my
That
God.
was awesome.
That was too cool. Katie, we better talk amongst ourselves while Jeff figures out what's going on with this technology.
For those that were listening, it looked like an infinity mirror when you look at yourself with a mirror behind you, and then you could see like a bazillion of yourself into the future. That's what just happened.
It was a meteorological horror house.
It was like walking
horror, not horror. Yeah.
All right, we got that solved. All right, so we have a lot to talk about. We kind of hinted at this last week. We were settling into, a cooler pattern, if you will, compared to the start of the month. So, we'll obviously be talking about that and what's to come, but we want to go over what happened over the weekend. There was some excitement around Western Oregon and Washington. We had some thunderstorms rolling through. I'm sure many of you experienced that, considering most people live west of the Cascades. So we'll talk about that. August so far. We'll go over this cool next few days ahead, cool and showery. Then it looks like it should be turning a lot warmer mid to late week of next week. I think that's safe to say. So,
we agree. Mm-hmm.
And of course, we have some great viewer photos. We're actually going to start the podcast with viewer photos, and we're going to end the podcast with viewer photos.
Wow.
So, plenty to share here.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
That thunderstorm event, that the complex, I guess there were multiple complexes of thunderstorms that passed through, brought over 6,000 lightning strikes to Oregon and Washington. Every triangle you see on the graphic there indicates a lightning strike, and I think that's cloud to ground lightning, if I'm not mistaken.
And does this count the lightning strikes that happened in the morning on Saturday before the big system?
Looks like
through in the afternoon?
8 a.m. to 8 a.m. So yeah.
Oh, stop there.
We may have missed the 7:30 a.m.
Yeah,
storms.
I was gonna say because we start at 6 on Saturday, and there was stuff happening.
Is that on 8Z to 8Z?
Oh well, they don't say. That's odd that it doesn't say.
Well, it's between the 17th and the 18th, so it
got most of them.
Yeah.
How about that? Among friends, we can say that.
You
were asking about those strikes. I was told once, because sometimes we will not see strikes on our system that we know occurred like overhead, like there was, and I was told it's mostly cloud to ground, but occasionally it can pick up cloud to cloud lightning sometimes. But I think each system's different. I have to say I don't know the details of that, but it's a round number, let's say about 6,000.
Mark, we have a really nice satellite presentation, GOES 18 satellite loop from Dakota Smith over at Colorado State University. We met him at the AMS Broadcasters Conference, and he said, anytime you guys have anything interesting you want shared from GOES 18, shoot me an email. I was like, you know what? I think it could be cool to show the thunderstorm complexes that went through.
And, Jeff, I'd love to, but you are sharing right now. You have to unshare,
gotcha.
And then I need to reshare. Or share.
Sharing is caring. That's what we do here on the Fox 12 Weather Podcast.
I always share. Here we go. Are you ready? You ready for it? Oh, yes. Look at that. Wait, are you seeing it yet?
Actually, you can zoom a little bit more, Mark. Bottom right-hand corner of the screen.
Or just the little scroll. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Look at that. Woo!
Yeah,
the sunshine ahead of the storm, and then the storm.
The flashes that you're seeing there, that's all the lightning that was picked up.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning.
Goodness.
Oh, there we go. Sunshine ahead of the storm in the metro, and then bang. Boy, that happened so quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, that created a bit more instability. Yeah, that was fun. That was a great, Granted, there was some damaging hail out there, quarter to ping pong size near the Cascades and the Gorge. Some really strong wind gusts, which we'll go over. But most of us had non-severe thunderstorms, and it was more of a steady rain that came through, a nice soaking rain that really lowered the fire danger. That being said, of course, all the lightning, there could be some holdover fires that might appear next week. Who knows?
It was so cool that I had just a get together. A few friends were coming over, but I was like, it's 85 degrees. I'm going to go rotate in the pool. I have like a little floaty thing. I just sit there and stare at the sky. And it was so cool. I caught the end of it, the sunshine, just as a high cloud started to thicken up. And boy, 1 hour later, it was just like being in the Cascades or east of the Cascades or east of the Rockies, where it's like it was such a dramatic change, which we often don't get here. You know what I mean? Usually it's like, it's a little cloudy today, maybe a rumble, but this was dramatic from warm summer sunshine to hail and rain. Pretty cool.
Is that how you entertain your guests? You go float in the pool?
No, that was before they showed up. I had all my clothes on by then.
Okay.
And I do wear a swimsuit, just in case you were wondering.
Was not wondering, but thank you for that detail. Yeah.
You know, I was going to say also, I made a mistake. I had to do a retraction on Twitter because I said in my blog, and I think I said online, like, hey, no hail in the metro area. Somehow I missed that. I don't know if the Weather Service actually had a storm report from the metro showing hail. Did you know there was hail in the metro?
Probably east side. I don't know where, though.
No, it was like right near you, Tiger, Tualatin. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? There was a special weather statement, like Garden Home area for a thunderstorm. It wasn't quite severe. What was it, like dime-size hail or so?
Yeah, it was like the bigger winter-type hail we get. But the point is, somebody said, hey, stop saying there was no hail. And actually, that brings up another comment. Here's a brief little mild rant. I think the Weather Service in Portland, I don't know if they're the only weather service that does that. We love the Weather Service. Everybody loves them. They do great work. They're just like us. They're weather geeks. But are they the only office that puts out those special weather statements when it's not a severe thunderstorm?
Mm-mm. I've seen it in other...
You've seen it in other places.
I have, but they do a lot of them.
Yeah, so I think, my opinion is, the few times we do have a real outbreak like that where we're going to get real severe thunderstorm warnings, it just adds to the clutter. It's like all these warnings and things could scroll across your phone. It's like, no, that's not an actual warning. It's just saying, hey, heads up, there's something passing by. I wish on those real events the Weather Service would stick pretty much to just severe thunderstorm warnings. Otherwise, it just adds to the clutter of stuff going by. I saw it in our newsroom email too, I think.
I could see it creating some confusion with the non-weather people. I think there's a place for it, though. I mean, we don't get many thunderstorms out here, and I would say that, the ones that were warranting a special weather statement, on that leading edge mark, they're stronger than the ones where we get in springtime and the fall, with the post-frontal showers and stuff.
Sure, I see that point. You got a good point, too. Maybe there could be a happy middle ground. It's not going to happen that often. I mean, the last time we had something like that was like, that happened. It's what we had like that. Pretty strong stuff like that only happens every 3 or 4 years, it seems like.
I would rather our Weather Service office be more proactive than falling asleep at the wheel, Well,
so, I don't think they're going to fall asleep at the wheel.
No, I know. I'm not saying they would. That's their job.
But they can use their turn signal and brake signals too often. That is a possibility.
Fair enough.
And annoy those behind them on the freeway. That's my analogy.
I think that everybody deserves to listen to Mark Nelson a little bit here and there because he has 3 decades worth of experience in this market. So.
No. Just a tiny pullback on those days. Tiny.
Okay, so let's just bounce along here through. I think this was maybe the best shot from this event.
Yep.
And that could be the best shot I've ever seen. That's amazing.
Ian sends in some great stuff.
Oh my
gosh, the double lenticulars. Remember that over
cool.
Mount St. Helens,
right?
But no, Ian said that he saw some thunderstorms in the distance, farther south of Mount St. Helens. He saw this coming, and then a group of people gathered, I think, around a parking lot there at the visitor center. And I think it's at the visitor center where they were, and watched the thunderstorms come in. So great shot.
So is this
there.
like a video that he takes and he just stops it on that frame? Because how do you capture that exact moment?
You would need long exposure if you were doing photography. But yeah, he shot a video. He posted it to I think he posted it to one of the Facebook groups of the whole thunderstorm coming through. I mean, Ian does some great work. We're lucky to have his eyes up there near Mount St. Helens because he always shares them with us. And so that was a great view. Mark, I'm also sharing some stuff from your weather blog. By the way, if you don't read Mark's weather blog, kptv.com/weather, click weather blog. He did a nice recap of this event. There was quarter size hail in the Cascades. I think there was up to ping pong size hail, correct?
That was the largest. In fact, I meant to look, but I didn't get to it. We've had some busy days in the weather center, but I meant to look and see. Ping pong is, I think, $half size. Is that correct? That's pretty rare, although I guess that's in the Cascades, not really west of the Cascades.
I think ping pong is 2 inches. I think 1 3/4 inch. 1 inch is quarter. I know that.
Ping pong is 1.5.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's just under a golf ball. Huh.
So is 1 1/4 $half?
Just a minute.
1 1/4 inch.
1 1/4 is $half. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So I know I mentioned, because they upped it to a slight risk of severe thunderstorms. So I mentioned severe thunderstorms could produce quarter to $half size. I think the Storm Prediction Center did a great job with this event. I mean, when you look at the winds, we were talking about potential wind gusts between 60 to 75 miles per hour. They were right in that ballpark as well. In fact, by the way, shout out to Larry Miller for sending in this photo. Appreciate you putting the quarter next to the hail. That really helps us out and the weather service. But really quick, this was the rainfall. We saw a decent soaker out of this, 1/2 inch to 1 inch, a little bit more in parts of the Cascades, it looks like. But yeah, we had some gusty winds. We didn't have those kind of gusts in the metro area. 41 mile per hour gust was recorded at PDX, but here you go. Oh wait, we did, I guess.
Wait, what'd you say about the metro area?
Oh, I guess this is the Cascade foothills, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's the north central Oregon and the Gorge.
Oh,
that's away from the Cascades.
Wait.
This is east of the
I'm a little
Dalles.
bit thrown off. Yeah, you're right. That's the Columbia River Basin.
You need to be familiar with that area, Jeff. North Central Oregon, South Central Washington.
I'm an idiot.
A lot of wind farms there. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, look at that gust to 68 at John Day Dam.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine the amount of dust. And I did see a video. Remember, a fire started near Arlington where the gust only 43 at that spot, but maybe the spot isn't very exposed. But that at Arlington, a fire started along the freeway, and I saw a video of that. And it's just dust and sagebrush is flying at this truck as it's going along, and they're passing spots of burning left and right. Luckily, they got it out pretty quickly because, there's just it's just brush to burn, but like 5,000 acres or something burned quickly in that wind.
Yeah, there's some good wind out there. So we did not get any severe wind recorded in the Cascades. Of course, there's less weather stations up there.
Yeah, actually, I would say, in the Cascades, and we didn't, that's one thing. I didn't see any reports of high winds in the Cascades.
I'm sure there was. I would have to assume there was warning those were severe warned. There were a lot of them, and producing that size hail, I would assume that there were at least 60 mile per hour wind gusts up there. But we don't have the concentration of weather stations up in the forest, so. True.
I was going to say that gust of 41, you mentioned it, but that was the second highest gust we've ever seen in August in Portland. The big one was we actually had an area of low pressure, a 985 millibar low come up the coast at the end of August, and we had a gust, I think, to 43, but there were gusts like 60 or 70 along the coast with that. That was the only time I've ever seen a deep low in August. It was real weird, and it was like 75 degrees as the south wind was blowing. That was a pretty interesting storm.
What year was that, did you say?
2015.
Oh, 2015.
Late August.
Interesting.
I'll put a link to that in my blog. You can see the peak gusts from that storm.
So was that storm about the same time of year as the one that we just had? Or was it a little later?
I think it was in the last 10 days of August. I don't remember exactly when, but I'd never seen it was an organized, surface low that came up the coast. I mean, with the curl and everything.
Nice. All right.
Moving on.
Moving on.
We're out of time. Okay.
All right. We're moving on to August weather so far. How has this month been playing out? Well, it seems like it's been cooler than normal or near normal, but we have to remember what we started with. So we're still running about 2 degrees above normal in the metro area, even though we've had a stretch of days in the 70s and low to mid 80s. So if you're just listening to the podcast, we always encourage you to watch the podcast on our website or on YouTube or Fox 12 Now. This is showing a calendar view of the temperatures. Obviously started off on a warm note, lots of 80s and 90s, but we've had a stretch of days that have been a bit cooler.
Mark has his hand up.
I have a question. I have a comment to make. An important comment. I even forget about this all the time. One of the reasons that it's 1.9 degrees above normal, a little known fact about this graphic, we show the highs, the highs for each day. If it's warmer than normal, it's red. If it's cooler than normal, it's blue. The dark reds and dark blues are +10 or -10. And what we don't show is the lows. We've had consistently warm lows. So we actually have a different graphic. Maybe I'll pull that out today to show how warm our lows have been. So much cloud cover this month. So that the whole normal on the right side, that final number is based on the highs and the lows.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though we've had cooler days, like overnight, I don't think we dropped into the. Yeah, we didn't end up dropping into the 50s in Portland overnight last night.
We didn't again.
Mhm.
Cloud cover, huh?
Yeah. I think it was hovering around like 62, 63, but
Well,
let's check it.
Yeah, I'm checking it right now.
And while you do that, I'm going to jump ahead.
Uh-huh.
We're
60. Oh, you're right. 64 or 63 at best. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Got a solid 0.3 of an inch of rain out of that thunderstorm complex that went through on Saturday.
Lame. We had
Well-
much better totals in other parts of the metro.
Yeah. But that, I mean, it gets us closer to where we should be for this
Right.
month. And we'll probably end up exceeding the normal amount for August, which is about a half an inch of rain. Anything else? guys?
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, some places, like you saw, almost an inch of rain, 3/4 of an inch. So my gravel driveway's all washed out, so I'm unhappy about that. Not that it's about me, but yeah.
Hey, PDX beat out Salem, though. Salem ended up with about 1/4 of an inch of
Mhm.
rain, but has surpassed their typical average for the month of August, which is about 0.18 of an inch of rain.
Really? I didn't realize Salem was that low for the average. Interesting.
Yeah, I actually, I'm also picking up on little things when I pull these graphics from the weather service, the climate, stats and whatnot. Salem's still running about 3 degrees above a typical August, though, with an average high of 86 and an average low of just under 60 degrees. Figured we include Astoria, and also I wanted to include Redmond just to have some representation of Central Oregon as well. So Astoria is running over 3 degrees above their normal August.
Mhm.
Average high of 71, average low of 58. Go ahead, Mark.
An interesting thing, if you look at the sea surface temps right now, because we've had a week or so of almost no upwelling along the coastline, the north wind has stopped. We've had a lot of light south or west wind. I noticed suddenly that the cold strip, the cold water that's always pulled up by the north wind in the summertime, is pretty much gone. And so the 60-degree temperatures have pushed right up against the coastline. So not that it's dramatically warmer, but it's probably 5 degrees warmer than it was just a few weeks ago.
That is
On the
interesting.
coastline, yeah.
That is
Take a look at those numbers. Pull up that graph. In fact, I think we put that out on our app. I think that's an automated graphic that comes up. The current sea surface temperatures. Remember that time when I put it on Twitter and it was showing up every day? And people say, stop spamming me with sea surface temps.
Everybody was memorizing them. Like we had the most
Stop it.
educated viewership or viewers of sea surface temperatures in the United States.
We did. I stopped that.
Yeah, so Astoria's had about a half an inch of rain. They're pretty much near where they should be for the month of August. But of course, with the rain coming in later this week, we'll surpass that mark. And a quick look at Redmond. They're right where they should be as well in terms of rainfall, with about 1/3 of an inch of rain in the bucket.
Not much anyway, ever.
Right. But they're running about 2.5 degrees above a typical August. Their average high for the month of August so far has been 90 degrees. So it's been a warm August out there, overall at least.
Mhm.
And smoky.
And it's been smoky. Yeah, much better lately though, right,
Wow.
Katie?
Yes, much better, but still, my parents still live over there, and they're over it.
Oh, do they live in Redmond? I don't think I knew that.
They live in Bend.
Oh, okay. They
So,
live in Bend. Gotcha.
Yeah, they're Bend. So.
Well, I think aside from Mark, I know I'm looking forward to the cooler, wetter conditions.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a lot wetter up in Corbett, I'm sure, Mark. So let's get into that part of the forecast. This is visible satellite imagery this morning of Northwest Oregon and Southwest Washington.
Nice.
And along and west of the Cascades, we've seen a lot of cloud cover. There are the breaks of cloud in the clouds that we were just talking about for the start of the podcast. Katie and I were kind of referring
I've
to
got
that.
a couple.
You do?
Just like a spot or two of blue. Just a
Nice.
little bit of blue. So, okay, I feel better now.
There's hope, folks. There's hope for Mark. Let's take it to a wider view, though, and you can really see that area of low pressure starting to, the upper
Wow.
level low kind of carving in there.
Oh,
That
so
is
pretty.
impressive looking for
Yeah.
August coming
It
down
sure
the
is.
coast.
You can see that cold front right there, and then behind it, the post-frontal showers. I love it.
That's
It's a sign of-
beautiful.
I mentioned on air last night, I'm sure you got the 500 millibar coming up here, but this is the pattern in winter where we would say, ooh, a low is coming down the coastline. We're going to get snow down to the foothills at least, and could it fall all the way to the beaches or sea level? This is the pattern, which is pretty interesting.
Sure is, and I
That
don't
is
think,
so beautiful.
you know what? Snow may come up in a little bit. Stay tuned. Upper
Good
level
teaser.
low coming in. So this is the late afternoon, early evening, upper level weather pattern for the region. You can see that low kind of digging in near Vancouver Island. Watch what happens tomorrow. It sets up shop right offshore of Oregon. And this is a look at geopotential heights. So in the anomaly. So this is showing a much more shallow air mass than we would typically see for mid to late August. So pretty cool conditions expected as we wrap up the week.
And look at the we had to take stats in meteorology, and I've forgotten a lot of this. I should know this, but the sigma, the standard deviation, that's down around a -4, which isn't that like in the top 5% of low heights down there off the California coastline, something like that.
Might be.
That's like the curve. It's like way out at the edges of the curve. So highly unusual to have such a deep low, 558 decameters down there off the California coast in August. I mean, up at BC or northern Washington, not as unusual. But so far south, it's really digging south.
It is. And it looks like the surface low, there's going to be a front kind of stalling over western Oregon and southwest Washington. So the latest guidance has been telling me that like late Thursday into Friday morning is going to be the wettest time period. You seen that as well?
That's what it looked like last night.
Yeah. This is a real pain to forecast. Katie, what is it? The upper level?
Cut off low, weather person woe.
Oh, I said it wrong on air. I said upper level low, weatherman's woe.
That's cut off low.
Oh, weather person's, that works too.
It's what the original saying is weatherman, but it's cut off low, weather person's woe, because
I like that better.
They're a little tricky.
Yeah, well, and here's what happens. Look at, this is 24 hours later between Thursday late afternoon and Friday late afternoon. That thing hardly moves, and that's why it's kind of a pain in the you-know-what to forecast. Like, where are the showers going to be? They're kind of pinwheeling around the system. And then eventually it starts to work its way off to the east. This
it opens up.
Late afternoon Saturday. The upper trough is focused over eastern Oregon, it looks like, interior northwest. So that's when we should start to dry out, Saturday evening into Sunday. So, all right, really quick before we look at these numbers and the details, I'm going to just show you the Euro, GFS, and the Canadian back to back to back. Watch this. Very similar. They're both showing a lot of rain for this time of year along the Cascades. So perhaps some orographic flow going on there. And something else they're really honing in on is kind of that zone between the Cascades across the metro west end of the gorge and up into western Washington. That looks like there could be a steady batch of rain coming through as the front kind of stalls out between Thursday night and Friday morning. So I think a lot of this is going to fall, at least in northwest Oregon and southwest Washington during that time.
Boy, the positioning is such a pain on that. Jeff, could you unshare for just a second? Because I want to share something.
Yeah, give me a sec.
That's similar. And actually that shows it as well. Let's see right here. Window. This is the WRF GFS from UW. And so this is based off the GFS, but it kind of shows what the Euro showed. Maybe the GFS showed it too. Someone's getting soaked. Like, there's still this area in the Cascades. So the pinkish colors are what, an inch or more, an inch and a quarter or more. But then look at that. There are spots in the valley that may see less than 3/100ths of an inch, according to this model.
Less than the 1/10 of an inch, yeah.
Yeah. So, boy, same thing. Actually, they all kind of look like that out at the Dalles too. But the point is that that's something else. So I think there's going to be some people saying, you made a big deal out of all this rain and we didn't get hardly anything in Dallas, or we didn't get hardly anything. And I mean, our graph, with the cloud cover, graph model, was it Thursday, tomorrow, that showed a lot of sunshine at the beaches, actually? Or was it Friday? One of the two. Anyway, stuff is moving around, and it's just such a pain to forecast where the showers are going to be.
No doubt. Yeah. So again, between the three models, I mean, we're seeing similar solutions.
Yeah.
If you live in the Cascade foothills, plan on a good amount of rain for this time of year in western Washington too. But, I think west side of the Willamette Valley, Tualatin Valley, perhaps Yamhill Valley, there may not be a whole lot of rain. So this is how our 7-day forecast looks as of this morning. Not much changed compared to last night.
You like how I kept your wording yesterday? Kept a lot of your stuff.
I will say, Mark, I'm not seeing much of a chance of thunderstorms.
I just saw that today, too. I was looking at the lifted index off the morning NAM, and it goes 3.5 days. What's that, Wednesday, Thursday? It goes through Saturday afternoon. Friday and Saturday, it was like +3 or +5 or something. I'm like, One would think we could get thunder in this pattern, but maybe not.
Right. So I removed it from the 7-day. I'm sorry. Katie, I hope that doesn't offend you either.
No, you're
It
right.
does not.
It just seems like in this pattern, we should be able to get one. So if we get one, I'm going to blame you and say Jeff took it out of the forecast. So then one popped up.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I've been blamed for worse.
Well,
So.
and I have to do the forecast on Friday, but I think what we're talking about is maybe before I would do it. So we'll see.
Tonight
Yeah.
or tomorrow.
Yeah.
You do. Yeah, you do. it
Who's
tonight,
doing the
tomorrow.
forecast tomorrow? Camilla?
Oh, you know what? I don't know. I'm off tomorrow. I work my next
By
day.
the
I work this
way-
Friday.
Oh, yeah. I think I forgot to tell Camilla we were doing a podcast today. That's my fault.
You know what? Camilla is
How
in the
rude.
final. She's in the final month of pregnancy, so I think like she deserves that.
She ain't
break.
sleeping.
She probably. I was gonna say she probably enjoys.
She
being
wants
able
the
to
break,
sleep in.
probably.
Yeah.
But sorry, Camilla, if you didn't want to be a part of the podcast.
You weren't invited to the party.
So this is the overnight Euro run. This is a shorter range run, and it shows temperatures projected at 5,000 feet, and it's showing between Friday and Saturday, our coolest time frame. It looks like at 5,000 feet, the temperature could drop down to 5 degrees Celsius, which implies we could have a 6,500 to 7,500 foot snow level. Do you guys know what starts on Friday? Hood to
Ski-
coast.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a chilly start Friday morning.
Yeah, it will.
Really chilly. It'll be in the 30s up there, probably upper 30s, 40.
With
Although they're
chilly
kind of used to
showers?
that. With chilly showers. Usually it's dry, but it is always chilly up there. But yeah, that's pretty. Well, maybe they'll get. Oh, no, that's right. It's Thursday night into Friday morning is when the Cascades are getting soaked. Oh. Our own Drew Reeves is doing that too, isn't he?
He is, and Andy's going to be live up there on Friday.
Oh, poor
For
Andy.
GDO. So, I mentioned this morning, at the very least, there's going to be some chilly showers. I can't rule out a little bit of chunky rain up there.
Sure.
Friday morning. I mean, weirder things have happened, so that's why I said snow might come back up into this
Right.
podcast here.
Wow.
First time we've used this season, and I think by early next week, once the clouds kind of clear out, the volcanoes are going to have their first termination dust of the year. Mark, you like that?
Yeah. The first one, nice Alaskan reference there.
Yeah. Katie, have you heard that term?
I have not. That's new to me.
It's like a little sign of fall is right around the corner. Termination dust on the volcanoes, a little first dusting of the year
Yeah.
or season rather.
Totally.
So I think that's coming.
Yeah.
All right. So excitement expected over the next few days with a more inclement weather pattern, wet and cool conditions. And then, well, summer's going to remind us it's still here. So we're back to the upper level weather pattern. This is Sunday, late afternoon into the early evening. If you look at the cursor there, you can see the upper level low is working its way over the upper Intermountain West, northern plains, and high pressure is starting to build in. Something that I started noticing, you probably noticed it yesterday too, is it looks like we're going to get grazed by a trough that's going to work its way over Western Canada
Right there. Yeah.
between Monday, late day, and Tuesday. So there's going to be a bit of a delay to the warm up, I think.
Right.
The ridge kind of gets smushed down a little bit as that system works its way to the east. And then this is Tuesday, late day. You can obviously tell the ridge is building over the eastern Pacific Ocean. Should be right overhead around midweek, around Wednesday and Thursday of next week.
Unless another trough rides over the top. Models aren't showing that, but I'm waiting for that shoe to drop.
It's this time of year when there's a lot of chaos in the 7 to 10 day time frame,
Mhm.
right? We have to approach with caution. But, if the Euro is correct, next Thursday into Friday, the ridge axis should be east of us. So I think the hottest days should be Wednesday and Thursday of next week. And then next Friday, we might be entering more of a troughing onshore pattern. Who knows?
Labor Day weekend right there.
Yep.
Or the beginning, right?
So what I went ahead and did.
There it is.
Words don't speak correctly on podcast. No, I'm kidding.
As we always do on TV, right?
Yeah, right. Try it at 4:30 in the morning. That's when the fun happens, Mark and Katie. Actually,
Or
Katie knows
11:30
that.
at night after you've
I
done
know.
6 shows.
Yeah, it's really hard actually.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, we're done. I was going to belabor the is no, you're good. It's all, go, Jeff. 3, 2, 1, go.
We like to follow the green line here, which is the ensemble mean. This is the Euro outlook. And right around Wednesday and Thursday, you can see things kind of pop up, both the operational and the Euro ensemble mean. Jump up to about 15 to 20 degrees Celsius at 5,000 feet, which implies that we should have highs somewhere between the mid 80s to low 90s. At least a couple of afternoons. What do you guys think?
14 is average for August, so I think I should look at the numbers, but I think we've been at or below 14 for about 10 days already, right? Oh, not counting Saturday ahead of the storms. It went 16 or 15, but we've been below average for quite a long time now.
Awfully steady beyond that, by the way, as we wrap up the month of August and we head into the month of September, right around 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. So that is the Euro. Did I jump ahead to the GFS? There's the GFS. Also shows that warm up around mid to late week of next week.
Massive heat wave. Actually, it's not massive. Little heat wave over Labor Day weekend, it thinks.
Oh.
Perhaps.
You see that on the operational only. Yeah.
And both computer models and their ensembles are drawing us out after this few days stretch of wet weather. So that's the Euro, and this is the GFS. GFS, maybe not completely dry, but yeah, we have to approach the forecast with caution 7 to 10 days out or so, because we have competing air masses now as we approach fall. But the Climate Prediction Center is saying between the end of August, early September, we have a good likelihood of above normal temperatures, which around this time of year should be about 80 degrees or so in the metro area, that is. Something that was mentioned last week, Mark, you talked about like our latest heat waves that we usually experience. Something like that, something to that effect. I was looking at it. It looks like the latest heat wave, or at least the latest stretch of highs at and above 90, happened in September 4th.
That's interesting. I got to look at that one because I'm not aware of that one. Out of all the different, heat waves I've looked at in the past, I didn't know there were 7 days at or above 90 in 1944.
That's a long stretch. That's what I was thinking.
See, there's no climate warming right there. It was just as hot in 1944. So I'm sure somebody will tweet that at me.
Maybe, yeah.
That's interesting. I was not aware of that. But typically, we don't get long stretches of extreme heat. Well, I guess extreme would be like 98 or 100 degrees. I'm curious what those numbers were. While we're talking, I'm going to look it up. 1944, right? Okay, you guys just keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, just based off the fact that the sun angle is changing, we have, in late August, it's comparable to early May sunshine. We're starting to get hints of that inversion in the valleys. Katie, I think it's possible that, so after the thunderstorms, I want to say it was Sunday morning or Monday morning, we had some fog out there in the valley.
Yeah, well, when I was driving in Sunday morning at the butt crack hours
before
dawn, I was going through before the butt crack hours of dawn.
I've never heard that term. You're going to get the nastiest Facebook comments about that.
The imagery, we did not need it. So yeah, that's why I added the potential for fog Monday morning. I think as the clouds clear out and the wind is light, we might see a little bit of patchy fog in the valley again.
Yep.
After that wet weather. Mark's gonna erase it later. I know
it'll be localized. I was gonna say the 90s. Okay, 1944. So first 2 days of September 1944, 72, 73. Then the 4th. I'll just do the 7 numbers starting on the 4th of September. 93, 101. I think that might be the latest 100 we've ever had. So 93, 101, 90, 93, 92, 92, 98, and then showers in 60s and 70s. So there you go. 1944.
It's difficult to have a heat wave late August into September, but under the right circumstances, it can happen.
It can happen. Yeah.
And we can get 90-degree readings into October, early October. I think the latest was, is it right here?
1991, I think. Right?
Well, I think
one day.
This says 1988. Oh, so there was a 1991 as well?
Well, you're saying, no, there'd only be 1 day. You're saying the highest we've ever seen in October is 90, right?
Well, I'm saying the latest 90-plus degree reading in Portland.
Yeah, I think
in
it's
the year.
October.
Early October, yeah. First week of October, I believe.
1991.
October 5th or 6th, I think.
Pulling up 1991, because we must know. Weather geeks listen to this. They demand the correct information. You keep talking. Daily data for a month. Let's see, 1991.
We're hanging on the edge of our seats. We're hooked now.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, 1991.
Suspense is killing me.
That was the year that we had a really late dry east wind. Let's see, October 1991.
In late September and early October, what?
Wrong.
What?
It didn't hit 90 that month. I have no idea what month it was.
In October? Oh, in that year, you mean?
Well, okay, now I must know. We're not leaving with that. You go ahead and keep talking.
Well,
what's
the
the
weather
hottest
service
October?
right here has October 6th. Oh, no. They have, it doesn't say the day. They just have 1 day in October, is the record greatest amount of 90 plus consecutive 90 plus degree days.
Almost
All
there.
right. All right.
Here we
We've
go.
kind
It's
of
coming up.
belabored the point here.
No.
He's
Oh, wait,
gonna
it's
figure
hit
it
90
out.
more than once. Wow, I'm just full of it today. So 1987, we had a 92 on the 1st. In 1988, the next year, we had a 91 on the 1st. And way back in 1980, we had a 90 on the 5th. These are all October. And in 1970, we had a 90. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So it's happened 4 times.
Bottom line is, it can hit the 90s in early October. Beyond that, it's very difficult to happen. I mean, it's still difficult to happen.
Blows my mind that I was that far off. Slipping.
Yeah, that's what happens, Mark.
It does happen.
No, I'm kidding. All right, we're going to wrap up this podcast with some great viewer photos. We had some, I mean, there were some spectacular photos that came in from these thunderstorms. So this was shot by Josie out at North Bonneville in the Columbia River Gorge. That was probably a severe thunderstorm. Great Mamadas clouds. I think that's in my top 5 favorite clouds.
Yeah.
Cloud types. What do you guys think?
Pretty neat. Those
looks
were
like
really
an
well defined.
organ.
I had them at my house, but they didn't look as good as that ahead of the thunderstorm.
Katie?
It just looks like an organ of some kind in the sky, like the way that they form in those little pieces. It feels like brain matter or something to me.
Right.
They're just cool.
Wow.
I got to be careful when I say Katie, thoughts?
Yep.
All right, so that was a good one. Mark, this was actually sent for you. I saw it in an email that came into the newsroom.
Oh, yeah.
Libby Hola sent this. I guess she was on a road trip with her daughter, I think she said in an email, and they stopped at Twin Falls, Idaho, Snake River off to the left side of the screen there. This is like your textbook cumulonimbus cloud with the Mamadas clouds underneath it. Fantastic shot during sunset, I believe, too.
They said they call it the atomic bomb cloud.
Yeah, it does look like that.
It is kind of near. Wasn't there an atomic area out there in eastern Idaho? There's something.
You should know that off the top of your head, Mark.
I've been failing all through this podcast on weather info.
Right. And we had a supermoon the other night. So this was sent in by Derek Wood. Love the shot of the city down below, Portland, and of course the moon rising in the distance.
If I have to hear about that, this is a great picture. I love it. It's great. Nice picture of the supermoon. If I have to hear the news people talk about that damn supermoon again. Oh my gosh. So then we ran the story. We make it sound like it's some huge thing. It's okay. Well, okay, it's about 10% larger. The human eye can't even tell the difference. And then we ended the story yesterday saying, oh, there'll be 3 more coming up like in September, October, and November. It's like
I heard that too, and there's no way we're catching all 3 of those, right?
Well, we are, but the point is, if we're going to have a categorization for everything like that, it's like, well, then it's no longer super because there's so many of them. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Remember when it was a super tiny moon? Just because it was farther away. So it was a little
super
tinier.
when you zoom your camera in way into it. Yeah.
The drama.
You'll have 3 more opportunities to see it during the cold, wet season. I'm kidding. There's no way Mark's going to see it at his house. Enjoy that wet weather, Mark. I'm kidding. That's about it. Any other thoughts? I gotta be careful asking Katie any other thoughts, but no.
We're talking about butt cracks and brain matter.
Oh man!
I should just said it again. You know what? We're gonna blur that. We're gonna put that little sound.
Beep. Yeah.
Beep it out.
Yeah.
I'm getting beeped. Yay!
Katie's
Cleanest
foul
mouth in the
mouth.
weather center, and I'm getting beeped.
Anywho, yep. Wet weather the next few days, and then we're back to a stretch of heat, somewhat hot weather next week. So, thanks for joining us for episode 113 of the Fox 12 Weather Podcast. We'll talk to you next week.
So stop your waiting and hesitating and tell us, please tell us about